Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 97 of the Well Done Life Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 97 of the Well Done Life Podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, welcome. I'm so glad that you could join us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep, and I really appreciate you for continuing to rock with me. So thank you for another week of your support. Before we dive into this week's episode, I always like to be really foundational. That's my thing. I like to make sure that we are building our safe space on the right foundation. So I always believe that every foundation needs to be built on two very important things, and that is clarity and love. So clarity, it's pretty simple. I just want to make sure you understand what the Well Done Life Podcast is all about. The Well Done Life Podcast is a podcast that I created for women. I created this space because I feel like as women, we need places where we can be vulnerable, where we can share our stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, and learn and grow from each other, because women are the foundation of society, and who better to help motivate us than us? So that's what clarity is going to bring you here in this space. And then that leads into my second favorite thing, actually my favorite thing of all time, which is love. I love love. And everything that we do in this space is going to be rooted in love. And as a part of that, I always like to make sure that every week I'm sending out prayers to you. I pray personally every day for the world. And so I want you to know when you're listening to this that you are truly prayed for and thought of. So this week I want to make sure that I am sending you prayers of peace. I'm sending you prayers of prosperity. I'm sending you prayers of hope, because it can feel very hopeless out here sometimes. I'm also sending you prayers of love. I want you to feel love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I'm also sending you prayers of health. And I'm not just talking physical health. I'm talking mental health too. I mean, no offense, there's attacks on both sides to that. So we definitely need to make sure that we guard up our mental and our physical health. And I'm also praying for you prayers of strength, because sometimes, we need that extra strength to help pull us through, especially as many of us are on the journey to finding our best selves, or creating our best selves, or being our best selves, or creating something new. Just so many journeys. Don't give up on you. Keep realizing that you are more than equipped to do everything that you desire to do. You just have to believe in yourself. So now that we've kind of set the foundation off right, let's kind of start to weave into this week's episode. We are in the month of February, and I am actually recording on February the 8th at 9:19 p.m. And I really wasn't going to record tonight, but I am so motivated by a conversation that I just finished having, and that is going to be on tonight's episode I'm going to share with you, which I'm really excited about. And we are right in line with love. And that is the theme of this month's episodes. It is all about love on all levels. Last week, we started with relational love, the right to real love, with my friend Jay Emanuel, the first man that I have ever had on the podcast. I hope you got a chance to check it out. He was amazing. He is such a breath of fresh air, as a friend of mine put it, in relation to how he views love. And his show, Right to Real Love, gives really great insight from a biblical standpoint, more spiritual, I would like to say, in regards to relationships, and giving women practical advice that doesn't put us down, that gives us thoughts to think of how we can approach our romantic relationships. And there's just so much to it. So I would definitely recommend that you check out that episode if you have not. I'm going to link it in the show notes. But this week, I wanted to kind of turn up the notch a little bit with our episode. I have personally been on a journey to self-love for quite some time. If I think about it, I've probably been on the self-love journey for years. But I'll be quite honest, I just started really getting it right for me, probably in the last few years of my life. I'm about to be 49. You guys know I'm really happy about my upcoming birthday. And if I were to think about it, I probably just started getting it right. My journey to self-love in the last, I would say, 4 years of my journey in the 40s. And so right at the end, it's like, you kind of finally the light bulb comes on and all these magical things that you discover about yourself that have already been there, come to play. So I knew that I wasn't alone in this journey. So for a while, I've been thinking about, I wanted to have an episode with a few women, with a few very purpose-driven, motivating, inspiring, encouraging women to share their journey with self-love. And to say that I was blown away by the conversation that we had would be an understatement. And I'm so excited about sharing this with you. I kind of feel like this is part one, and I kind of started planting the bug in their ear after we finished talking tonight, that I definitely want to do this again because I think we need to create more spaces for this. And especially as it relates to Black women in our journey for self-love. Yes, because it is Black History Month. And in the year of our Lord 2022, there are a lot of Black women who are on the journey to self-love and are struggling. And I think women in general are struggling in relation to finding self-love and finding ourselves and being who we aspire and desire to be. But for Black women, it's a totally different journey because there are a lot of expectations on us, and a lot of perceptions from society that can really alter how we look at ourselves and how our self-love journey overall. So I wanted to dive into it. And I was very intentional with the women that I selected tonight. Each of these women, I knew that they were the ones that I needed to have this conversation with. Like, I could not have this conversation with anyone else. It just was a very intentional circle. So I am very excited about sharing this conversation with you. So I'm going to shut up and bring them in. I'm going to let them all introduce themselves to you because, yes, it was a collective. We had the number 7 tonight. It was the number of completion and perfection. So I feel like this was a perfect conversation and I want you to enjoy it. I can't wait for you to hear it. So if you will stand by in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they'll be with you.
Herself, Ms. Shannon Green, if you will introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you so much. I'm Shannon, and I spent the majority of my career as a journalist at the Orlando Sentinel, which is how we got connected. And throughout that journey, I became a fitness accountability coach, and I lead a community of women who are on a self-care journey. And I am also a healthcare professional. So I am very passionate about health and wellness and self-care. So I'm very excited about the conversation today and looking forward to this awesome chat.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited about having you here. And she's being very, very humble. She is also an Emmy Award-winning journalist. So she needs to brag on herself a little bit, boo. So believe me, we're all snapping and bigging you up in the background. Don't play small here, mama. No small.
I'm working on that. That's my self-care journey.
No playing small. So I would like to also introduce my next guest to you, Dr. Shalonna Battle. Dr. Battle?
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Shalonna Battle. I am a women's health nurse practitioner. I have my doctorate in nursing practice. I have been working in the area of women's health for the past 13 years, and I love every moment of this journey. Part of what I love about being a healthcare provider is that I get the opportunity to educate and inspire women and just coach them on living healthy and beautiful and bountiful lives. And so that is why I created the Eavesdrop Podcast, which is a podcast that is geared towards coaching women to live better, to be better, to strive for a healthier lifestyle. And I am happy to be here amongst everyone today.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. We are very excited about having you here. And my next guest I'd love to introduce you to is Ms. Chrissy Diaz. Chrissy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Yes. Hello, ladies. I am Chrissy, and I am currently a real estate professional, retired influencer. I think that's how we met. But I am a huge mental health advocate. That is my passion. And I'm always trying to spread the positivity and teach people about just, it's okay to not be okay.
Well, I appreciate you being so honest and sharing your journey. And just kind of fun fact, because she might be playing a little small too. She was my first guest on my podcast. And her story is just so inspiring and so impactful. I get a little emotional every time I think about that conversation because that just took so much courage to be so honest that way. So, and I'm trying to stop her from being a retired influencer as well. She has a journey, a story to share. She's just kind of trying to figure it out. So we're going to help you figure it out.
Thank you.
And Ms. Katie Pearson, would you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hello, everybody. I'm Katie Pearson. I'm an educator by trade, but kind of my little side hustle or hobby is I operate a relaxation and rejuvenation space for anyone that needs it. And I specialize in steam therapy as well as offering different beauty products to just make you feel amazing. So there I am.
Yes, Ms. Pearson is a woman of all talents and trades, and she has the ability to be anything and do anything. And I'm just very blessed to have you on this conversation. And then, of course, Mrs. Daniels, Kathleen, would you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Thank you so much. And I am so honored to be here and be a part of the podcast, Pam. And so I'm Kathleen Daniels, and I also reside in Central Florida. And I am definitely a big advocate for mental health, self-care, and self-love. And some of the things that I absolutely love about self-care, I am a brunch-loving, wine-loving, spa-loving nap lover. I love all things opulence and I love all things luxury. And so I believe as women, we have to pour into ourselves in order to pour into others. And so those are just some of the things that I enjoy doing as a part of my self-love and self-care. And thank you for having me.
Oh, it is truly my pleasure. Yes, honey, she is the queen. She knows all the good spots for the massage, the brunches, and she's also super intentional. So I am just very honored to have you. And then, of course, my fave, one of my faves. Tita, will you tell the audience a little bit about you?
Sure. I am Tita, and I am inventing myself right now, as you know, through self-love and self-acceptance. That is where I'm at right now. And I don't say reinventing because reinventing means that I was already something, and but I was everybody else's something. So I'm inventing Tita right now, and that's the journey that I'm on.
Tita's also playing a little shy. See, I have to pull all this greatness out of all y'all. I don't get it. Tita is a brand strategist extraordinaire. She and I have been working together for the past, year on my brand, the project that's coming. And she's amazing, super creative. And she also hosts a podcast as well. I can't believe I'm giving your spiel, a Black girl, a white girl conversation. And it's great. They have amazing, real conversation about social justice issues. And so she's awesome too. So thank you. So thank you, ladies. You are all just simply amazing. And I really, truly appreciate you. So like I said, we're talking about self-care. So I kind of wanted to put some questions together, which I did, just to kind of start talking about, well, not necessarily self-care. I apologize. Self-love, because self-care and self-love kind of do weave in. So my first question, just to kind of make sure we get our feet wet as we dive into this conversation, what does self-care or self-love look like to you? So I'm gonna pick one person to randomly start. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna start with Chrissy. Chrissy, what does self-love and self-care look like to you?
For me, it's all about setting boundaries with myself. And definitely with work, because real estate is super busy. So I intentionally take days off and have myself a spa day or do something creative. So for me, it's just about doing something that brings you joy and peace and makes you feel good.
Thank you. Yes, I totally agree. I, personally, when you said about finding boundaries, that's a really important thing for me that I am trying to work on. I saw a lot of heads nodding as well. What about you, Shannon? How about you? What does self-love and self-care look like for you?
So boundaries is actually my word for the year because I always start the year with a word. I'm reading the Boundaries book by Netra Tawwab. So I'm very passionate about boundaries right now. And when you ask the question about what is self-love, I think self-love starts with knowing your value. And when you know your value, you feel confident in setting those boundaries because you know that your time and your talent have worth and that you are worth holding that space. So I think for me, it really starts at boundaries.
Yeah, I would have totally agree with that. And it's always so hard to try to establish boundaries. What about you, Shalonna? What do you think? What does self-love and self-care look like for you right now?
Well, I think that self-love is really all about appreciating yourself and accepting yourself for who you are. And this means like loving all of your capabilities and your positive attributes, like what you bring to the table, as well as being able to accept your flaws or what you consider being your flaws. And I also think that true self-love is being able to look past what society says you should possess and still be accepting of yourself and your capabilities.
Yeah, I agree. That was very powerful because society definitely does, I think, dictate a lot of how we feel about ourselves and what we perceive. What about you, Katie? What do you think?
For me, self-love is pouring into yourself as much as you pour into everybody else, right? And everything else. So being unapologetic with that. I know for a long time, I was giving so much to my job and so much to my family, and there was nothing left for yourself. So I've really worked on saying I need time, and I'm going to be unapologetic with that I'm going to take my time and I'm not going to feel some type of way about not giving to someone else at that point so that I can give to you better because I feel good when when I've had my time. So that is that self-care that says I am just as important as what I'm pouring into everybody else.
No, I totally agree with that. Kathleen, what about you?
So I absolutely agree with what everyone has said so far with regards to the boundaries and, filling yourself up. I also feel like self-love for me looks like putting myself first and not feeling like that is being selfish, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And no longer will I into my cup to make others be fulfilled. I have to pour from a place of overflow. And so I am super intentional about pouring into myself on a daily basis. And that goes back to, I believe, what Shannon was saying earlier about having a word of the year, and her word is boundaries. My word for 2022 is intentionality and being super intentional about every area in my life, but specifically starting with my self-love, because I can't be good for others when I'm not being good to myself. And so I'm excited about the journey.
Amen. Yes. And Tita, what about you?
Self-love for me is to love whatever arises, no matter what it is, no matter what the outcome, I'm going to love myself regardless. That's what self-love is. And I also feel like self-love to me is to feel. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel upset. That's self-love because that is part of you, right? And so you got to love it.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you said that, because for me, that's always been a little bit of a challenge as well, just learning how to love what comes versus trying to control every outcome. Because I have to admit, I have that kind of personality where I like to be in control. So that kind of leads me into my next question. When did you realize that you love yourself? So yes, I'll start with you, Tita. When did you realize that you loved yourself?
3 months ago? 2 months ago? you know a little bit of my story. I went through a mid transformation the last three years. So I would say that throughout that whole series of transformation of all sorts of different layers, I think probably really about 3 months ago, I really realized that, man, why do you not love yourself? Like, I really love myself. And then, and also, knowing that God loves me regardless, I was like, well, how can I not love myself? Because he loves me too. And so for me, that was just a realization. And also I think it was the fact that, no matter what has transpired in my life, look at where I'm at. And, it's like everything I went through, I really feel like it was for a reason and purpose, and I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I'm like, so how can I not love myself? And I'm at peace, So I think that's when I really realized that I really love myself was about 3 months ago when I said, I'm going to love myself unconditionally. Why not try it? That was really how it came about. Why not try it? Because it's not working to beat myself up. It's not working to have other people beat me up. So why don't I just try it? It's foreign to my self-consciousness, but I was like, why not try it? And so I told myself every day for the last 3 months, I love you. Even then when it felt like inauthentic, I just kept saying, I love you. I love you. And now I'm like, I love me. Okay. I don't care. I love me.
Oh, I love that. I'm so excited by that. And that is so honest because, yes, I was going to say 3 months. I probably got you maybe a little bit, let's say maybe like I'm working on, I'm almost to year 4, almost. And it really got good maybe like about 2 years ago that I learned to really love myself. What about you, Kathleen? When did you know that you loved yourself?
So, similar to Tita, like I figured out probably like within this last year that I truly loved myself before I thought I did. But with getting like super focused and intentional and being really reflective on what it truly means to love yourself, I had a major awakening in 2021. So prior to that, I thought I did. And I think that was more of like an imposter syndrome where I thought I was something that I wasn't. But really truly being reflective, I would say within the last 6 months to a year, which I thought I was on the journey. I thought I was on the path. I thought I was doing all the things. But in true reflection, it's been about 6 months to a year. And I love it here. And I love this journey. And I love the woman that I am becoming. And I know that my future self is happy with the decisions that I'm making today with regards to truly loving myself and doing that daily work.
Wow. That's very interesting. I've seen a trend and I'm gonna address it. What about you, Katie? When did you know that you love yourself?
I don't know, girl. That question just got me thinking. Like, I don't even know if I ever thought about it like that. What I do know is that I love life, right? And I want to live life to its fullest. And the way that I do that is by taking care of myself, right? So I have been more conscious of what I'm eating, how I'm thinking, what I'm doing to keep my mind in the right space, and being more conscious of what I need to feel good and to continue to live life to the fullest. But that was a deep question. I'm not sure that I'm in the place where I've realized that means I love myself yet. I think I like the person that I am, and I'm trying to always love myself, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, damn, I wish this or I wish that. I still have that happening. Or I reflect on, I had this goal that I didn't meet yet. I thought that I'd be in this place. So I don't know. I need help. I'm gonna listen to everybody else so I can get there.
No, you are on the right journey because I think that that's part of it. I think that's honest. So I appreciate you saying that. What about you, Crystal? When did you know that you loved yourself?
I'm with Katie. I go back and forth, falling out of love, falling back in love, falling out of love. I have my moments. I think the pandemic really forced a lot of us to sit with ourselves. And I think that was probably like the turning point of me really starting to be like, you got to stop living for other people and really live for you. And I think that's when I start to really feel more like myself, when I do the things I truly want to do and I'm honest about it, and I'm not trying to cover it up to make other people feel better.
Yeah, I totally can feel that. That's why I said I see a trend, and we're going to talk about it, but it's just, I'm so surprised, but then I'm not surprised. So Shalonna, what about you? When did you know that you loved yourself?
Yeah, I share the same sentiments with Crystal. Can you hear me?
It's okay. I can hear you.
Okay. I share the same sentiments with Crystal and Katie, because when I was presented with the question, I'm like, I had to think for a long time about it. And that kind of scared me, because I'm like, I'm out here coaching women how to love themselves, and I can't even think of one reason, one way and one reason why I love myself. But, as I thought long and hard about it, the word choices came up in my mind. And just like Katie, I chose to be healthy. I choose to go to the doctor every year. I choose to eat right and exercise and do all the things that I can to be on this earth. And so I think that's evident of self-love. And when I look at the rearview mirror of my life, there are so many times that I could have made some horrible decisions that probably would have ruined my life and prevented me from being where I am today. And I believe that I was able to make wise choices, not only because of the foundations that were set by my parents, but because I saw potential in myself. Even back then, even though I probably didn't realize it, I loved myself. I always thought that I deserved to do well and that I deserved God's best, even if I didn't achieve what I thought I could.
Right. And that at least is a great foundation for it. So you're on the journey too. What about you, Shannon? When did you know that you loved yourself?
I mean, I'd love to buck the trend, but I feel like everybody else, I got stumped on that question as well. I was like, when did I know, or when did I start the journey? So when did I start the journey of self-love was really 5 years ago, after I had my second daughter. And that was my whole weight loss journey. I lost 40 pounds. I started working out. And I started moving from a performance mode of always trying to be good for everybody else, to be excellent in what I did and all those other things. And I started to really focus more so on my habits, because I have 2 daughters. So it just became very important to me to model to them what I wanted for them. Even if I didn't have it in me, I wanted to be an example for them. So I started a journey 5 years ago, but I also feel like up until yesterday, I started I'm still figuring out what this means. Like, do I really love myself? I know I like myself. I'm learning to like myself better. And you start to figure that out when you stop judging yourself all the time for what you're not. Like I used to get really offended when family members would say, "Oh, you're so sensitive." And I realized, you know what? I'm very intuitive. There's a difference. I'm actually very empathetic. I care about stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to call that sensitive, that's okay. If I am, I'm okay with that. I think that's all a part of self-love, just accepting all the parts of who you are and being okay with it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like I was saying, I noticed this trend where everyone is saying, it's either the pandemic or I'm still not 100% sure. And I think personally that's okay, because like I said, I'm just new to the journey for myself. When I knew I love myself was when I made the decision this year to put myself first. This is when I knew I love myself. When I got tired of sitting in mediocrity, I knew that I love myself. Like I have played small for so long because I didn't want to buck the system. I wanted to make sure I was doing whatever I needed to do to take care of everybody else and my family. They were always coming first. But this year I decided they're still going to be first. They're going to be in the top 10, top 2, but I'm number 1 this year. So that means that I make the decision that if something doesn't make me happy, I don't do it. And that can be job, that can be relationships. I'm just cutting that off because I just don't have that energy inside of me. So I admire that everyone is still trying to figure it out because, yeah, we're all different ages and spaces and places. So trying to learn it is hard. My question after listening to all of your answers is, do you feel like if the pandemic hadn't happened, do you think you would be where you are right now on your self-love journey?
I think,
go ahead.
I think the universe has a way of making us at some point in time stop. And just if it was not for the pandemic, it would have been something else. So I really think at some point in time, we would have been forced to stop and think, and reflect. So so the answer to that question, I think, yes, of course.
Wow. What about anybody else? Does everybody else kind of agree, or does anyone feel like it might have been a little different if the pandemic hadn't happened? Because I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know if I would have sat down enough if it hadn't been for the pandemic. I don't. I feel like the pandemic really gave me back my life. What do you think, Katie?
I absolutely agree. I was working nonstop. And it was almost like, because I had been working nonstop, it was an expectation at work that I work nonstop. You teach people how to treat you. And I think because you can handle a certain workload, it just kept them coming. And I couldn't stop. And I think that I was going to burn out because between what was going on at work, coming home, trying to balance everything at home, I would have burned out. What the pandemic did was it caused everything to stop for a minute. And I got a chance to process when I was thinking that maybe we might all die. I had some regrets around, why the hell am I working so hard? Like, why am I doing all of this? And there's so many things I haven't done yet. If we're all gonna die, well, damn, I would have did this, and this. And I think it made me process around, if we get out of this, and I'm talking about the early stages, we didn't know what was going on. Everybody shut in, didn't know how you going to do this. Are you about to die? Who's going to get it right? It made me stop and say, like, if we get out of this, I'm changing some shit, okay? And so it made me really process that, you have to have balance. And if you don't find balance, the universe will find it for you. And some people find it because they work themselves to death. And then they hire somebody right after you in the ground. So listen, that pandemic helped me a lot to reflect on what is important and how to get more balance.
Wow. Yep. I felt all of that. I see Shannon and Kathleen. So I'll go to Kathleen first and then I'll come to you, Shannon. Kathleen, what do you got?
So, wow, all the shares so powerful. But for me, I felt like the pandemic gave me an opportunity to pause, to breathe, and to reflect. It gave me a lot of quiet time to really think about what were the things in life that truly mattered. I too also suffered from the overworking, always being on, not turning off, and being everything to everyone else except myself. And when we had to get still and had to get quiet, it gave us an opportunity to really think about what was really important and to reflect on how we can make our lives different. And I do think that the pandemic provided that. I am grateful for the pandemic, or as like you like to call it, Pam, the panini. It's still happening. But I feel like everything that has happened in life has led us to this very moment. And I wouldn't trade anything because I don't regret where I am right now. And so I am grateful for what happened during that time because it caused me to just really slow down and value what was truly important in life. And I had to put myself first as a result of that.
Amen. What about you, Shannon?
The pandemic was a fake friend because I thought I was going to pause and reflect, get all this wonderful time to just process. I made a huge life pivot. Like I changed careers and then went into healthcare. And then 2 weeks after I started in healthcare support, a pandemic hit. So like everything that I thought was going to happen did not happen. All of a sudden I got super busy, super stressed, and I was homeschooling and trying to figure out all the things. I was in all the meetings and everything was a crisis every single day. So I just was so busy that I didn't have time to process. And what I leaned into was my strength. You know, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to be strong. And also I'm a fitness accountability coach. So I had more clients. So in that sense, more people were coming to me. So life got super crazy. And then what happened in the pandemic is my daughter was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome and ADHD and anxiety because the pandemic started to have an impact on her. And I had been noticing tics for a couple of years, but that was actually when it really exacerbated. So I would say with that situation, it really taught me that I cannot solve every problem. I cannot do everything in my strength. I'm not enough. So I had to really learn how to lose control and be okay with that and know that whatever happens is what's going to happen. And all I can do is control, you know, my emotions about it in terms of, hey, just accept it. Just release. Don't try to fix everything. You can't. You're not God. You're just mom, you know? So I would say that it definitely helped me to lose that control by basically breaking me in every way possible.
Wow. That's deep. And yes, I could only imagine trying to carry all of that. All the parents, bless y'all, because I could not imagine trying to homeschool a child in the middle of a pandemic on a Zoom and a Teams meeting all the time. No, that's a lot of stress. What about you, Crystal? What do you feel? Do you feel like the same way? Like it kind of was a fake friend, or do you feel like it helped you?
I definitely feel like it helped me because although like I lost my job, you know, like everybody else during the pandemic, I feel like the job that I had before was very stressful, and like the people there, like my anxiety was through the roof. And now like I have a job where I make like 3 times the amount I was making before, and I work at home. So it's like I can control my environment. I have more peace. And so I just feel like it really helped, and I'm appreciative of it.
Sorry about that. Yes, I could understand that. And being able to finally get your worth too has also got to contribute to your self-love. Because I agree, a lot of people, I know myself included, I feel like I'm working for less than my worth. And it is a lot to face and deal with. So I'm glad that you were able to open up that door into something that works better for you and that's more profitable. You deserve that. So now that we've kind of talked about how the pandemic was either the gift or the curse, I could understand in Shannon's case where she might say it's the freight for end. But you found your strength, which I think is admirable. And I think a lot of us that was the overarching theme, as I heard. Everybody you found your worth, you found your strength. What is one thing that you would say that you're on this journey of self-love? What is one misstep that you feel like you took on the journey? And how did you recover from it? So Crystal, since I have you, I'll start with you first. What's one misstep you felt like you took on the self-care journey, self-love journey, and how did you recover from it?
I don't know if I recovered, but I think my misstep is just thinking that everybody would get it. Thinking that the people, you know, that are, as my therapist says, in the front row of my life, thinking that they would get it. And a lot of people don't get it. You know, they think that you're being selfish, or, you know, you're being bougie, or, you know, just whatever. And so just thinking that, you know, people would understand, they would be supportive, and just knowing that it's okay. They don't, you know, not everybody has gone through the healing process or has gone through the things that I've gone through. My journey is just different. So still healing from that, but yeah.
No, I can respect that. Kathleen, what about you? What's one misstep you've made?
So one misstep that I've made is not keeping promises to myself. And so letting my own self down. And so one of the things that I do every day when I have a good day is I practice what I call my morning life savers. Savers is an acronym that stands for S is for silence or meditation, going into prayer in the morning. A is affirmations, the words that I speak not only over myself, but also over others. V is for visualization. Where do I visualize myself, my day, things unfolding for me? E is exercise, getting up, moving my body in some way, whether it's like yoga or stretching or walking, taking a walk in nature, etc. R is reading something that's going to add value and pour into me. And then S for scripting or journaling. And so when I don't keep my savers promise to myself, I find that my days are a one-off. And so when I do keep my morning ritual and my savers sacred to my morning, I find that my day goes better. So on this self-love and self-care journey, when I am true to myself and I keep my promises and I actually implement my savers, I find that my day goes miraculously well. And when I don't, then I find that my day is a one-off. And so my word of the year, intentionality, is to be super intentional about pouring into all aspects of my life by employing those savers every day. If I don't get to it first thing in the morning, I make sure that I get to it sometime throughout the day, just to make sure that I'm checking in with myself and making sure that I'm giving myself what I actually need. And so that's my part. Yeah.
That's super. Yeah, that's all about consistency. And I know that you are super consistent with how you manage yours. What about you, Shannon? How about you? What's one misstep you feel like you've taken on the journey, and how did you recover from it?
I love what you just said about the savers. That's awesome. I think my misstep has been just trying to find that balance between being super goal oriented and, rigid to what I needed to do to be successful in the day. And then kind of giving myself way too much grace to where I just completely slack off, and just finding that rhythm between self-compassion and knowing when it's okay to give yourself that grace to say, okay, you missed it today. It's all good. And not allowing that to turn into 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And then 2 weeks, you're like, oh, well, I just kind of threw the towel in, versus being so hardcore about my goals that I wasn't giving myself any room, for, I don't even want to say failure, but for just, rest. We have to have that rest. It's so necessary. So I would say I feel like I have a better grip on that now, but that was my biggest misstep, was just trying to get that balance.
Yeah. And that's always hard, because I'm sitting here listening to you ladies talk about the routines and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't have a morning routine. I can't do it. The morning, I'm just trying to get out of bed so I can struggle to get downstairs on time. But I have an evening routine. And that's what I could adapt. And I gave myself grace to say that's good enough. So I admire the fact that you're trying to find that consistency, because I think that is super important. What about you, Dr. Battle? What about you? What do you think?
One misstep that I could think of is putting others before me. I do it very often because I'm a people's pleaser. And I used to put the needs of others in front of mine, even if it inconvenienced me, just to make somebody else happy. And I guess it kind of comes along with the territory when you are a healthcare provider. I'll set an example. I have a ringtone that's specifically for my job. And one day while I was getting a massage, because this is kind of like one of my self-care routines, I heard the ringtone from my job. And I forgot to put it on silent, and I heard the ringtone from my job. And I stopped the therapist and answered the phone. Mind you, the time for my session was still running, and I answered the phone because I knew they needed me, because a patient needed me. And so after that moment, I kind of had an epiphany. I was like, you know what? I can't be doing this. First of all, this is money. This is money being spent. I need to set boundaries, And so I guess one way that I recovered from the misstep is setting appropriate boundaries with my job.
Wow, that's really good. I'm still working on the appropriate boundaries with my job. So bless you with that. What about you? Bless you. I'm really struggling with that sometimes. What about you, Katie?
A misstep for me is, I already talked about the workload that was happening. And as an educator now, it is it hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten a lot worse. So in being back, not only do we have that same workload, we have vacancies, we don't have people there, we can't get subs. It's amazingly stressful right now. And so the workload has increased, but also the anxiety around that, from day to day. So misstep that I'm taking is I'm gradually getting sucked back in, and I have to be very deliberate in trying to cut things off and say, now I'm going home, and now on this weekend I am not answering this phone, or I'm going to monitor it, but I'm not going to get sucked into it. So trying to remain purposeful, because it is hard and it's easy to get back into that routine.
Yeah.
And then you lose yourself.
Absolutely. It's like a bad cycle. What about you, Tita? What's one misstep you've made on the self-care journey?
Vibrating low to make other people feel comfortable. So not being true to me so that they can feel comfortable. That was definitely a misstep, because I was diminishing who I'm all to be and meant to be, right? And I would also say part of that is because, there's a lot of hurt in the world, right? And people project. So I would say what I do now is, how the saying hurt people. Well, free people, free people. So I'm a free person. So what I do now is I free people. If they're projecting, it's a gift for me to realize that they need love in their life, and I will send them that love. And so yeah, I'm free. So I know I can help free others. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like how you put that. Are you sure that doesn't mean like you want to just, block the moisture? I'm always about moisture, preserving our moisture. So you send the negativity, just send them a little love and send them on the way with a little pat on the head. All right, go away now.
And then to not vibrate, because I think what happens, the human condition, when someone is not feeling they are doing good, then we're like, but we don't have to go down with them, just because we could be proud of who we are and what's going on with us, even if they're going through something. And I'm learning the best thing to do is like, how can I help you? Yep. That's it. I don't have to vibrate low to make them feel comfortable, to diminish what I have going on for myself.
Absolutely. Katie, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was like, what Tita just said, that was so powerful. That putting yourself on a low vibration to make other people comfortable, it's painful. And I didn't even realize like how painful and draining it can be. It is mentally painful. And that was something I really had to stop. Like I in terms of what I need, I can't do that. I can't turn myself on low just to make everybody feel comfortable. It takes too much of my energy and it's too physically draining. So thank you for bringing that up, because you can be in a space and be present. But you can lose all your energy because they drain you and suck all that moisture out. So that was girl.
I'm telling you. Yes.
Sure. It took me how many years though? I won't say how old I am right now, but I just basically got that 4 months ago, or got there.
That's okay. You're there. And it's so funny that you would say that about your age, because I'm personally at this point where we have to all embrace how old we are. I'm sorry. This melanin, God bless, is not cracking. It is preserved.
It's a blessing nowadays. Yeah.
Yes, it is slick. It is moisturized. So you need to own the age. Because I was going to say, ma'am, don't come on now.
Okay, fine. I just turned 50 last month.
Yes,
come through.
Come through with the like, honey, I think we need to own that, because my question is, now that we're all getting a little bit more seasoned, because, like I was telling the ladies before we started, my birthday's on the 25th and I'm turning 49. I am coming into 49 like, this is my finer than frog hair 49th year. So I don't really care how it looks. I'm totally claiming all the youth and melanin. How has your self-love journey evolved as you have gotten older? So Tita, since you are just celebrating a pinnacle birthday, how has it changed? Obviously it's been dynamic, but how has it felt, being 50 on this self-love journey?
Oh, peaceful. It just, gosh, sublime. It feels wonderful, you know? And I mean, even being bald, right? I didn't, you know, as Pam knows, I have a medical condition, which unfortunately transpired through COVID. And so I lost my hair. I do treatments and so forth. And I think that's why actually my self-love is even more intensified, because life is very precious and we have to own that. Like, and that's why we can't vibrate low. We can't diminish our desires and our dreams, no matter who's around us and what they're doing. And because we're here and God's given us the opportunity, it's a gift. It's a gift. And for us to deny that gift actually hurts his soul, because he put us here for a reason. So I think with evolving and getting older, I really realized that I'm Tita because that is who I'm supposed to be. And I'm present in that. And I'm allowing more of my personality to shine. I'm allowing more of my truth to be told. I'm not to be like rude because I care about people, but I don't care. I don't care what you think that I need to do or where I need to go, or, you know, that's where I am in my self-love, is like, I know that I operate in integrity. I know that I'm very valuable. I know I'm honorable, right? I know I'm capable. I know I'm talented. So the only person that I really have to, I feel like, really have that conversation with is God. And I really feel like the universe is showing me more greatness and showing me the path that I'm going down this decade. Like, it's literally a clean slate. Like, I mean, clean slate. And that's why I abrupt everything and let it go. Lots of stuff go, as you know, Pam. I let a lot of stuff go because I am so excited to really just fall into the impossible, right? Because I know there's so much more for me. And I'll shut up really quick, because this is also what I really learned. You know how everybody will have like vision boards and, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, which is great. I'm not denying that. But the challenge, one thing I learned through my transformation is when we just set our minds on just a few things, we're actually not allowing what the universe maybe has for us, more possibility for us, right? So that's something that was really downloaded on me, is like, no, I have more for you. Quit thinking small. Surrender, 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 so that I can present to you what I really want you to do. And I'll shut up for the rest of the time. I just had to get that out there.
I love
that was my 50th birthday presentation. So hey.
Okay.
That's right. Doing that. I love that. I was gonna say that's all of those feelings. Yes, totally felt that. Shannon, what do you think? How do you feel like your self-love journey has evolved as you have gotten more mature?
Honestly, this is going to sound a lot less inspirational, a lot more hardcore. It really is coming down to knowing my worth, and I mean that financially. We can all understand, as Black women on this call, we are paid 64 cents on every dollar that a white male earns. And the older I get, the more that pisses me off. Especially when I know what I bring to the table. I know what my talents are. I know what I can accomplish. And I'll say this transparently, just even over the last few days, since I left my last position, I've had a lot of people reach out to me with writing opportunities. Opportunities meaning, can you do this for free? Can you give me your brain trust? Can you collaborate with me? And as I've gotten older, naturally, I'm a nice person. I want to help people. I want to do all that. But that person is gone. I'm going into 42 years old. And now that I'm at this space in my life, I'm like, hell no, I'm not about to do anything for free. Not when I pay for it with my life experiences, largely being underpaid. So I would just say that is a part of my evolution of my self-love journey, is knowing that my time and my talents have worth, and people who respect it will pay for it like they would pay anybody else. And that is your TED Talk.
I'm not mad at that TED Talk, because I think more of us need to have those conversations. I've been ruminating on that. So I'm going to put that, ruminating on that for the past couple of days, weeks. Yes, some things. Yes, we've got to get some equity going around here with this paycheck. Not going to work. What about you, Crystal? How has your self-love journey evolved as you've gotten older?
Well, I think my self-love journey started small, thinking small, like Tita said, like just, but mine was more like superficial, like the facials and just buying what I want because I deserve it. But I think as I've gotten older, I'm only 35, so I mean, old.
Like you're 25, child.
I think, and with my mom passing last year, I think for me, it really has changed to just living my life, like traveling. I've always wanted to travel and never did it. So it's like now I'm traveling. And one thing I learned last year that has really helped me is like doing kind of like audits on my friendships and kind of getting rid of some, bad vibes, which has definitely helped me. And this year I've really been focusing more on serving others, just being more charitable with my time and resources to help others. And
yes,
it's not just about me.
I think that's great. Have all the experiences, see all the places, do all the things while you can, because you are at that prime age. Enjoy it. Do it all. I love that. Kathleen, I have to call on you because I saw you snapping in the background, girl. What did you have to add to that?
Oh my goodness, there has been just so much value poured into this room. I am loving it all. Tita, I agree tremendously with not lowering your vibration. Never leave the throne to go down and mingle with the peasants. It doesn't even make any sense, right? And then with what you just said, yes, I got some other words too, but I'm gonna keep it PG. But and Crystal, what you just said about not only the traveling, I think that is super important. That's how you see the world. That's how you broaden your horizons, but also around doing the audit around the people that we call air quote friends, right? So this is my litmus test for friends. Okay, I'm gonna drop this little piece of knowledge on y'all in this nugget, and then I'll be complete. But I always ask myself, would you be willing to trade places with that person and be okay? If your answer is no, those are not your people and they do not need to be around you, and you need to change your circle. Mm-hmm. So I agree, Crystal, with what you said. You do have to take that audit in life. And sometimes we've known people for 30, 40 years and stuff like that because we went to high school with them. We've been friends since kindergarten, elementary. We have to realize that on this journey, everybody is not meant to, nor can they come with us. It's okay.
Yeah,
it is actually okay. Because guess what? There are new people, places, and things at a higher vibrational level that are there to meet you, right? Because we all should be walking in our true divinity and along the path to be in our truest and highest self. And sometimes that means that other people have to be left behind if they're not willing to do the work. So I agree with everything that is being said. This is an amazing and awesome space. And I am truly filled up and complete based on this conversation. I just absolutely love it. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, you're so sweet, Kathleen. I got two more. So, Shalonna, what about you? I heard you in there with a few things were said.
Yeah, because I needed to hear that. That was for me because I actually lost a friendship, not too long ago. And this was someone who I was very close with. We were like sisters. We went to college together over almost 20 years of friendship, and it just ended suddenly. And it's like, you're left wondering why, what did I do? But the actuality is you didn't do anything wrong. It's just that sometimes relationships, friendships are seasonal, and you are in those situations and in those relationships to learn about yourself, to grow. And they're there for that moment, that purpose, and then you move on. So I needed to hear that. I really need to hear that. And thank you, ladies, for that. But how has my self-love journey evolved? Number one, I'm learning and I am enjoying saying the word no. So much so I've learned to say it so many different ways. No, absolutely not. Hell no. So I've learned to say it so many different ways, and I'm enjoying it too. And I have learned that self-love deals with not only accepting and loving who you are, but it is also like demonstrating that love to yourself. And it should be not just through the superficial things like getting facials and manicures and pedicures, but we need to do things and be intentional about how we physically take care of ourselves, mentally and also spiritually. And as I had mentioned before, I've learned to set healthy boundaries. And I learned that, we have to have boundaries in order to refuel and to rejuvenate. Otherwise, we're not going to be any good to anyone else if we're not able to do that for ourselves.
Amen. And what about you, Katie?
Yeah, I'm right in line with Shalonna on that one. I think, mine is my tongue has been liberated. The older I get, the more freedom my tongue gets. And I think I've always been able to say no, but, now I even take a little bit of time to explain why I'm telling you no, so that you understand. And it goes back to a little bit of what Shannon said. I'm not doing that because, number one, it's not equitable what you're asking me to do. And I'm not going to do that because you're asking too much of me. And until you start asking other people the same, then don't expect me to do more. Those type of things where I would just say no and then feel some type of way like, they probably don't know. I'm like, no, I'm gonna let you know exactly why I'm telling you no, so that you don't come to me again asking me that same foolishness. So in that way, my tongue has been liberated. I need to let you know why. Whereas before, I might just say no and leave it at that. But I'm going to stop and straighten you up for a minute and let you understand. The other way is I used to kind of look for experiences outside to say, like, here, I'm having this experience and it's fun to me and I feel good. And I'm going out to dinner, or I'm going out to do this or travel, which I still love to travel. But what I found now is that, I'm okay doing that. And I'm okay just sitting by myself and not having anything to do. Like, I love doing that. And so I think that has been something where in my youth, it was more filling up my time to make me feel good. And now it's more like I could sit with myself and I feel just fine. So it took a while to get to that space, but I'm in that space now. And then, there's the third thing, because Kathleen's my real friend, like in real life. And just like how she talking on this thing, that's how she talk for real. So you could be in this space and she will come tell you about what's resonating and not resonating, who you need to let go and what you need. And I just be like, okay, yes, ma'am. So you find a friend that does that for you, that doesn't just affirm you in a way that's really genuine. That's not just, I'm just telling you this because in the moment, like, I'm going to give you some nuggets that's really going to take you to that next level because I want you to blossom. I want you to be able to grow and I want to be a support for you. So that's my 3. Pick the right friend.
Yes, I love that. And ladies, unmute yourselves because we're going to wrap up, but unmute yourselves. I have to say that y'all have just like fed into me in so many important ways because it's just so amazing to have women who are so intentional about their self-love journey and so honest, because none of us have got this shit right. I mean, like I said, I'm almost 49. I'm just starting to feel good about it. I just started to figure out I love me. It took a hot minute. So don't ever feel like, you're late to the party. It takes a while.
It's a process.
It's a process. But I want to thank you guys. And I promise to be respectful of your time. I could keep going on. I really probably want to do a part 2 because I don't feel like we covered everything. So if y'all are down, just let me know. No obligation, no pressure. But I'm going to ask everyone, if you don't mind, to kind of just like roll through and tell us, how we can support you right now. Because that's what the World on Life is about. This is about women supporting women. So we will follow, we will share, we will learn, we will like, whatever. But I definitely want to give you guys opportunity and space because I just really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories and your experiences. Because y'all didn't have to do this. And I appreciate you for doing it. So who wants to start first? I don't care because I miss the laughter. I hear everybody, you guys are not even getting a chance to see all this laughter behind some of these conversations. So who wants to start? Jump in, whoever. Go first. Okay. So, come on. Crystal,
okay.
go.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I mean, you guys can follow me on Instagram. Like I said, I'm a retired influencer, so not really. I don't need any likes. I mean, but it's just Chrissy D, and there's no H in Chrissy. CRISSY, and I mean, just love on me a little bit. Keep me in your prayers. Still, dealing with the grieving of my mom passing. So
yes, absolutely. Yes, we got your back, Mama. Okay, I'm going to call on y'all because now everybody wants to be shy. Katie?
Yes, so I am Katie, and you can follow me on Instagram at the Rose Gold Spa or visit the website, which is the rosegoldspa.square.site. And I really took the time out of the pandemic to create a space. It was really just for me and some girlfriends, and it's turned into a relaxation space for a lot of people that need some time to unwind. I also have a product line. I want to keep everybody moisturized and feeling good. Yes. So just visit, and would love to see some more followers and get to know everybody online.
Awesome. Miss Shannon, come on, ma'am. Thank you.
You can follow me at I am Shannon Green if you need fitness accountability and you want to get tools and resources to help you with that journey. I have a fitness accountability group called Fit Sisters, and we keep each other motivated. I also have some other projects I'm working on that just keep following me on Instagram. You're going to see some announcements roll out throughout the year. So just would appreciate the love and support.
Absolutely. And she's got a bomb group going right now called for the Nedra Tawwab book, which I'm in. I haven't posted today, but I will because I've been reading. So just definitely follow her if you're looking for good materials to follow, a good reading group, very supportive little group. So thank you. And Kathleen?
So people can follow me on Instagram at Keesha, that's KEESHA _Daniels, I think, or Keesha _D. I don't know, Pam. I have to go back. Listen, girl, I have so many names. See, Pam and Katie, I got so many names. I also have
D.
Okay, it's Keesha _D. And then I also have a fitness weight loss journey, at _Keesha _journey_ on Instagram. So you can follow my transformation that I started back in 2019. And I am happy to say that I'm still maintaining, and we're in 2022. So I'm super excited about that. I'm all about that moisturizing and drinking and hydrating. Pam, you know how I feel about that. So Thank you so much.
Yes. And I will have all of her aliases listed because I know it was hard to follow, but I will have her stuff in social media because she has a lot of aliases. She's not wanted. She just has a lot of aliases. Tita, what about you?
Well, on the flip side, all you got to do is Google my name, TEE-TA, unfortunately, Tita Walker, and all my stuff will come up. So, but I'm not active on social media right now. I have social media, but it's been the best thing for me ever, not participating in social media. But if you really want to follow something, I would ask that you follow a Black girl, a white girl. And we have an Instagram, a Black girl and a white, right? A Black girl, a white girl. And, I'm like, wait, what is our handle?
I know.
A Black girl, a white girl. And then, our URL to, our YouTube, to our iTunes, to Spotify, all the podcast channels are there. So you can follow us there and support us there as we actually are doing some great stuff this year. We're branching out so we can get to the next level.
Yeah, really good conversations. And I will have all your information in there too.
Yes. And then you can stay on pause for me because there's some things that are going to be revealing, but just hold me up in prayers.
Yes, ma'am. We got you. And Shalonna, my darling.
Okay, you can follow me and the podcast at the real eavesdrop_podcast. That's the Instagram account. And I also have a website, the eavesdroppodcast.com. And I'm also on Apple, Spotify, and Google Play and other listening platforms. So definitely follow me. I welcome all new followers. And I hope that you're inspired when you do listen.
Yeah, she's got great content, and her wind down sessions are hilarious. Her and her friends are hilarious, like really, really cute. It's so cute. That's some of my favorite episodes of yours. So I'm definitely going to put all of you guys' information in the show notes, because you're creative and you're doing amazing things, each and every one of you in the collective, for women and for people in general. So I want to make sure I share you, but I want to say thank you guys for your time tonight. I really appreciate you having some honest conversations around self-love and sharing your magic and sharing your thoughts, because that, I think, it's inspiring. So I just really, really appreciate you so much. And I just want to thank you guys so much for your time. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that conversation really filled me up today. I just truly, again, want to thank Tita and Katie and Kathleen and Shannon and Chrissy for just coming on, and Shalonna. I really, 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 really appreciate them so much for being so open to have a conversation about self-love. It was just so magical. And I hope that you guys found some inspiration, and that you also saw that we're all just trying to do our very best. It's not easy, but we're all out here on the journey together, and we're going to get it right. Sometimes we're going to get it wrong, but we're going to figure it out. All we have to do is just keep leaning into who we want to be and who we know we are. Don't let the world tell us who we should be. Inside of you who God and the ancestors called you to be. So don't deny that. And don't be afraid to just believe in yourself. Step out and take a chance. So I really want to thank you guys again for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. I know I did. I'm truly, truly full tonight. And I, again, will have all of their information in the show notes so you can check them out individually, as well as I also will make sure that I link Nedra Tawwab's book about boundaries, because again, that is a really great book if you are on the journey to trying to love yourself more and to have a more fulfilling life. You got to do the work with you. It all starts with you, and it's all for the love of you. So make sure that you are setting yourself up so that you can truly love you the way that you deserve to be loved. So thank you again. I will be back next week with another episode. I really appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.